Yo, what is good YouTube? My name is Nadeli and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be going over an Arc Titan build that lets you spam pulse grenades, spam your class ability, constantly blind enemies, and get your super back very fast. Let's get into it. So jumping into the build, we're going to be taking advantage of the Cuirass of the Falling Star and Thunder Crash. This is going to increase our Thunder Crash damage by quite a bit. And we also gain an overshield that lasts longer the farther you travel before striking a target. So as you can see here, I'm in the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, and this is what the damage looks like without Cuirass of the Falling Star on. And now with the armor piece equipped, this is what the damage looks like. As you can see, it's a pretty good bump in damage, and it's really nice to pop this at the beginning of damage phases or towards the end if you don't want to reload. Now let's jump into the abilities, aspects, and fragments. Again, we are on Thunder Crash. As far as the class ability, we're going to be using Thruster. This pairs very well with our class item as we have Double Bomber. We're going to be able to get that grenade back fast. The jump is preference. I just like to use Strafe Lift. I like to use Thunderclap for the melee. You could put Seismic Strike here instead if you want another way to stun unstoppable champions, but I just like to use Thunderclap here. For the grenade, we're going to be using Pulse Grenade. This pairs very well with our first aspect, Touch of Thunder. Our Pulse Grenades create ionic traces periodically as it damages targets and increase in damage over time. We're going to be spawning a lot of ionic traces and orbs of power in this build. We're going to be able to spam that grenade constantly. Our second aspect is going to be Knockout. Critically wounding a target or breaking their shield infuses your melee attacks with arc energy and increases your melee range and damage for a short time. Defeating targets with melee attack starts health regen and makes you amplified. This is really good if you just need to melee something really fast to get some health regen, but we're going to be playing pretty safe with this build, and with the changes coming next season, we're going to be able to play really safe and take this into high level content. Now going over the fragments, our first fragment is going to be Spark of Shock. Our arc grenades are going to jolt targets. This is a -10 to discipline, but this is very key with the other fragments as it combos very well together. Our second fragment is going to be Spark of Ions. Defeating a jolted target creates an ionic trace. So you can see the synergy there between the first fragment and Spark of Ions. Throw that grenade, we're jolting targets, we're making an ionic trace, and we're also making an ionic trace via Touch of Thunder. So we're going to be getting this grenade back very fast. Our third fragment is going to be Spark of Discharge. Our arc weapon final blows have a chance to create an ionic trace. So this is even more ionic trace creation here. It is a -10 to strength, but no worries. We don't really need the melee that much. And our last fragment is going to be Spark of Beacons. While you're amplified, your arc special weapon final blows create a blinding explosion. We're going to be amplified almost at all times because we're going to be spamming those pulse grenades. And anytime we use our arc special weapon, we're going to blind enemies. This is very good for ad clear and just ad suppression. Now let's jump into the weapons I'm using in this build. I am using a Riptide as I can stun unstoppable champions and overload champions with it. We're utilizing a double special build. I'm using the Path of Least Resistance Trace Rifle. This is a very good trace rifle because it has Volt Shot and also Shoot to Loot. Shoot to Loot is getting a change next season to where you can also shoot orbs of power from a distance and get armor charge that way. So you're going to be able to take this build into high level content and play safe and always have stacks of armor charge. It's very, very good. And for our heavy, we're using the Thunderlord. This has intrinsic overload champion as well. So, I mean, you don't really need to run a Riptide. I just like to have it because the freeze is very good. You could take Thunderlord off and sub it for something like a Blowout or a Hothead. And you could put Witherhoard on or Arbalest, whatever you need for the content you're running. Alright, so jumping into the armor mods. On our helmet, we have one Harmonic Siphon. Rapid Arc weapon final blows create an orb of power. And we also have two Ashes to assets. Since we're going to be spamming that pulse grenade, this is going to allow us to get our super back really fast. And not be afraid to pop it. I use it whenever I can to just get a nice burst damage in on some high health targets. Very good. Alright, so let's look at the gauntlets. I have one firepower. We're going to be able to spawn an orb of power when we throw that pulse grenade, along with the ionic traces as well. We have one arc loader for the trace rifle. I just like to get to volt shot as fast as possible. And then we have one grenade kickstart. We're going to be spawning lots of orbs of power for armor charge, so this is going to help us get that grenade back even quicker. On our chest piece, this is preference here. I was running something that had arc, threat, so I had arc resist, but you could put something like concussive dampener because there's a lot of AoE damage. Just whatever you want here. Right here, I run a harmonic reserves just so I can carry more Thunderlord ammo and trace rifle ammo. Again, you could sub this out for something else. I just like to have the extra ammo reserves. And then for the final mod slot, we have Charged Up. It increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge by 1, so I'll be able to have 4 stacks. On our leg armor, we have one arc scavenger, so we can pick up more ammo whenever we walk over a brick. Since we're running a double special build, we're going to have tons of heavy ammo bricks and special ammo bricks on the ground. So we're going to be able to just spam both of those weapons. We have one innervation, so whenever we pick up an orb of power, it reduces our grenade cooldown. Again, this is just going to add to the already fast grenade regen we have. And then the last armor mod, we're going to have stacks on stacks. So whenever we pick up an orb of power, we get 2 armor charges instead of 1. So it's like a 2-for-1 deal. On our class item, we have Double Bomber. This pairs well with our class ability, Thruster. So anytime we hit that thruster, we're going to get a big chunk of grenade energy. And since we have Reaper equipped, our next final blow with our weapon is going to spawn an orb of power. You can just see the synergy here. Tons of ionic traces, tons of armor charge. You'll be able to spam that grenade and get your super back. This is a very fun build. Alright, so here's a quick little armor overview of the build. I will have the dim link in the description. Also, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I really would appreciate it. I'm going to have more Destiny 2 build videos coming very soon. Also, I do have a Discord server. The Discord link will be in the description, and my Twitch will be in the description as well, as I do stream Destiny 2, Apex Legends, Cuphead, and many other games. I appreciate the support. Thanks again. Peace.